During childbirth, whatever you do, whatever choice you make, kindly ensure that the facility you are going to allows you to have a second person with you. Ensure they have an accommodation for at least one extra person that can stay with you and be of help, changing baby, getting you things, getting you water, all that. This is something that really makes me regret going for the Mimosa Cottage as an option because they don't have that. Their visiting hours were like 1 hour, and it was only provided for 3 times a day. And so that is in the morning, afternoon, and in the evening. And apart from that, the next thing is they don't have private rooms. That is the second thing. So you can imagine what that looks like. The third thing that I didn't like about it is their meals. There was like it was like either one option, that or nothing. And so, for example, I talked about cabbage, and someone was saying cabbage is recommended. Cabbage is recommended. No, cabbage is recommended, but it's not the only thing they can offer. Yeah, and I went through reviews on Google, and these are like very similar reviews that I saw even with the rest of the people. So if we are to be honest, because the last time I did the video immediately after we left the hospital, I got like some minions. There are minions just coming for me and saying, oh, I had a very great experience. Good for you that you like the bare minimum. But I am just talking about things from my own perspective. Birth, as it is a very traumatic experience. And the last thing you want to do to a person who has just brought a whole human being into existence is giving them the bare minimum or maltreating them. Kwani painkillers ni pesa ngapi? How much are painkillers worth? Literally, how much are these things worth? This is Panadol, this is ibuprofen. Kwani hivi vitu kuwa shilingi ngapi? And this is why I say the only reason is because they didn't have a provision for a second person. Otherwise, I would have been able to, even in the middle of the night, take a ride or something and go and take the painkillers. Because apparently, with them, you have to pay for everything as you get it. This is to a point, he was literally like being prepared to go to theater, and they are busy following me to pay up some money, I think 400 or 500 for cotton wool. And I'm just like, hamwezi to cater for that using the deposit we have paid and then bill the rest of the money during discharge. How hard is that? I thought you guys are learned. That is why you are doctors. The next thing is maziwa. I am being called in the middle of the day and being told it is 5 hours since the baby last had milk, and reason being the hospital has refused to give her milk because the only milk they have ni asijui ya wale watoto wako kwa nursery. And I'm just like, why can't they just give her and then ask me for money? Like bill. That is why if your contractions become weak, they will administer oxytocin, and at the end of the day they will tell you this did not work, and so we administered this medication, so you're going to pay for it. That happens everywhere. Mimi, the way they operate like kibanda, hiyo ndio kitu sikupenda. And I will keep on saying and singing about it. And I was just saying, bold of them to actually write us a visiting date at 2 weeks postnatal. Walifikiria tungerudi. Are you guys crazy? And I was just like, are we being treated like this because of the amount of money we have paid? Or what was happening? Thank God it wasn't the first hospital we had top of our mind. Thank God. Because the amount of blaming ourselves we would have done, it would have been crazy. It was an emergency referral, and so at the end of the day, it was way out of our control. And then it's funny how, like, the facility we had chosen, I'm not going to say which one, but you can maybe guess from the prices. Let's do the math. These guys were charging us 105,000. They were charging us 105,000. That is after sijui kutoa 15,000 ya SHA. That is with SHA. 105,000 for the procedure plus 18,500 every day. Plus 18,500 every day. Plus 18,500 every day. And yes. So 18,000 times 3, that is 54. Yes. 54,000 plus 1,500. That is 55,500. That is if you're there for 3 days. Because that is like the estimate. 55,500 plus 105. That is around 160 huko inaelekea 170. And you call them, and this facility says they don't have a surgeon on standby. I'm just like, kwani is the hospitali? What kind of nonsense, what kind of mediocrity is that? If you're charging 170,000 for a procedure, if you're charging 200,000 for a procedure, then you most definitely have a surgeon on standby. That is the standard. That is the standard. Kama hauna, huko ni kwa 10,000. Yeah, so we didn't end up going there as much as that. No, I'm going to say that. But yes, Mimosa, never. I don't recommend. However, if you are on a budget and you are okay getting the bare minimum, you can go there. Yes. But for people that actually want a luxurious bathing experience, if you want peace post putting to bed, you don't want to be in the noise also. The noise. And those nosy nurses wanakanga hapo nje ya nini, literally outside the nini, the door. Wako busy TikTok, tapping and like taking tea. That is what they do. But when you tell them kindly get me water, they can't do it. Then unashangaa station yao iko hapo nje inafanya nini? What is their station doing there? Also, how do you come and take somebody's child who disappear na mtoi for almost 10 minutes and come back and tell them tulidunga mtoto measles? What happened to disclosure? What happened to that? Where? I could talk and talk and talk and talk and talk all day. I could talk and talk and talk and talk all day.